Hello and welcome back to the Helpware Nerds YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about what's on every nerd's mind, the Doomsday cast announcement. Okay, so let's jump into the elephant in the room. Marvel, what the hell were you thinking? A 5-hour live stream, if you can call it that, of the most boring game of musical chairs I've ever seen. Personally, I didn't sit through it all. I ended up having to drop out of it, which is a valid thing to do. They did release it in a press release, and I think we all knew they were going to end up doing that anyway. But there was more fun ways to do that. You've got an amazing animation department. You could have had animations of the different characters teaming up together in like a how it should have ended Superhero Cafe sort of way. You could have done like it was a post-credit scene, and they were all holograms. And then you had Doom, because you had Robert Downey Jr. there. You didn't have everybody else there, but you could have had stills of them, and then Robert Downey Jr. just like, that's what this universe calls heroes. Like, and that would have been our cast announcement. I think you went about it in the most boring way possible, in my opinion. But, hey ho, we got the cast announcement. And there are some people we are really excited to see. But before I share my thoughts on that, let's pan over to the nerds of the round table and get their thoughts on everything.
Okay, so I watched it, of course I watched it. I knew we'd be talking about it. Who am I most excited to see? I think that's a no-brainer. It has got to be Gambit. Like Rob, Gambit is my favourite comic book character of all time. I did notice Anna Paquin is not on the list, but the Fox X-Men original live-action cast names, the names like Kelsey Grammer, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Rachel Rumden are, but Anna Paquin's not. So, are we going to see a Rogue Gambit pairing on the big screen? Probably not, which is a little sad. I was kind of hoping for that. But maybe Channing Tatum's Gambit is not from the same universe as the Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen X-Men universe, but the fact that Channing Tatum's there, Gambit wasn't in those original films, kind of suggests to me that they are. So I'm excited to see how that plays out, and plus more of Channing Tatum's Gambit. I know people slated it. I loved it. It's finally time to kind of that little snippet in Deadpool and Wolverine. Want much more Gambit. And when we eventually get to the reboot of the MCU, let's actually have the X-Men dream team back on there, please, including Gambit, including Jubilee, Nightcrawler, all our favourites. Let's have them there. Who am I surprised isn't there? / who would I want there? Obviously, not seeing Spider-Man was a bit, oh, okay. The kind of Spidey is massive in all of this, so it'd be quite nice to have seen him. That being said, I know Tom Holland's filming Odyssey, so it's not surprising that he's not there. Who am I surprised? Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange. Where's Doctor Strange? I've heard a theory that Doctor Strange is supposed to be the anchor being for 616 universe, so if he's the anchor being and this is Doomsday, which is about sort of the end of the universe and Doctor Doom trying to sort of take everything over, you'd expect to see Doctor Strange on the cast list. So interesting that he's not, but he's in concept art, so where are we going with that? Okay, me again, real quick. I got so caught up in the Gambit excitement that I forgot to do a little shout out to Shang-Chi, because I really enjoyed that film, and I wanted more. I wanted to see a lot more of that sort of side of Marvel as well. This sort of mystic side that's not dominated by Wanda and Doctor Strange. Loved Shang-Chi. So excited to see him coming back and what they're going to do. And I have to do a quick shout out to David Harbour's Red Guardian. I thought that was great in the Black Widow movie, and can't wait to see a little bit more of him too.
Hello everyone, I'm Oakley, the resident gamer of the Ursula Roundtable, and I have just watched the cast lineup for Avengers Doomsday, and you know what? I am excited to say the least. All of the Fantastic Four and all of the X-Men. On top of that, we've got obviously RDJ as Doctor Doom, and we've got Anthony McAvoy as Cap, and we've got Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. And oh my god, I cannot wait to see Paul Rudd again. Love him as a character. But I think that the person that I'm excited to see most of all is Namor. And that is just purely for the fact that I really hope that they nail the dynamic between Reed and Namor. Because obviously Namor is basically pining after Sue constantly, and Reed is with Sue, so I really hope that they tackle it correctly, like, you know, in the comics and all that sort of stuff. And obviously, I don't know much about Namor, I'm not gonna lie, but I do love their dynamic with Reed. But obviously, Ant-Man as well. Can't wait to see Ant-Man again. Love Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is an amazing actor, and I am kind of disappointed though, because I get that Wolverine can't be in it because obviously the actor's done, and you know, is it like Deadpool and Wolverine was the last production, which is obvious. But I kind of wish that it was, because it seems like what's going to happen is the Fantastic Four and some of the Avengers, obviously, and the X-Men are all going to have to fight because of Doctor Doom. I feel like Doctor Doom is going to make each one of them fight for their universe, if you understand what I mean. And I kind of feel like Wolverine would have been amazing in that, but obviously fight for their universe, if you understand what I mean. And I kind of feel like Wolverine would have been amazing in that, but obviously that's not going to happen because he's done now. I think that he is just completely done. He's not coming back, which I feel like we are missing out, but also he's done. He's left that part of his life behind. That's what it is. Hopefully now we get to see the cavalry in full action. I'm just saying, the spot is now open, so you know, an actual, like, Henry Cavill actually is Wolverine, not just as an appearance. Like in Deadpool vs. Wolverine, I feel like he would do a really, really good job. Obviously, there's the issue with him also playing Superman, so everyone will be like, that's just Superman. But, you know, I feel like he'd do an amazing job. He did an amazing job in The Witcher. And, yeah, they are my thoughts on the cast. Obviously, RDJ was Doctor Doom. Amazing decision. I'm glad that Spider-Man in it, because I feel like if he was, it'd just cause unnecessary turmoil for, you know, turmoil's sake. Like, it's a good job that he's not in Doomsday, from what I've seen, because obviously we expect that to be an area of contention, but I feel like they'll do it in the future, but not right now. And I really do hope that this is the complete cast and they don't throw Tom Holland in as Spider-Man, because, I mean, it is a good Spider-Man, is an amazing Spider-Man, but I feel like that plot line shouldn't happen just yet. But yeah, they were my thoughts, and let me know if you agree. Let me know if you don't. Let me know if I'm absolutely talking crap. But stay nerdy.
So the Marvel announcement, that's a lot of characters. I hope they do them all justice, because there's so many in there. You got to think, are they bringing back all the X-Men for one last hurrah? Or are they bringing them back to make them, like, on par with Fantastic Four? I am looking forward to seeing them develop Namor more. I'm looking forward to seeing Paul Rudd, the man who never ages, continue. My main thing is there going to be more, and how many of them are going to be cameos, and how many of them are going to be lead characters? There's so many that could appear that we haven't been mentioned. Like, are we going to get more Peters, or is it just going to be the Tom Holland? But because he's in filming something else at the moment, is that the reason he didn't get announced? Who is going to be the face of Marvel in the next generation? Are they trying to make it Fantastic Four? What happens if Fantastic Four flops? Then where do we go from there? But all in all, I think there's a lot of great actors, and if they all play off each other as well as we think they're going to, then I think it's going to be an awesome movie.
Hi, I'm Katie of the Nerds of the Roundtable. I have watched the casting of Doomsday. I am most looking forward to seeing Chris Hemsworth as Thor. I'm also most looking forward to Tom Hiddleston as Loki, but I was quite upset to find out that Benedict Cumberbatch as Strange is not going to be in it.
So, Marvel announcement. X-Men are back. I generally don't think they're going to stay for that long. I think it's going to be like a last hurrah for them. It's nice to see Alan coming back. Never thought he'd come back. Fantastic Four were obvious. Captain was obvious. The Thunderbolts, I like they're in there, but there's no Taskmaster, so that leads me to believe that she's probably going to die in Thunderbolts. Hopefully that means we get the proper Taskmaster. Neymar's cool. I want more Neymar. Love the guy who played him. Because we get Neymar, I kind of hope we get the original Human Torch. But I'm kind of biased there. Gambit, I'm excited, obviously. Big Gambit fan. Chanum coming back. He's not my first pick, but I liked him in Wolverine and Deadpool Wolverine, one of them. So yeah, cool, he's back, yay. None of them really shocked me, apart from obviously the X-Men people coming back. I'd like to hope there's more. I believe there's more. So kind of hope Moon Knight gets involved. I'm going to assume Tom Holland's in there somewhere coming up. But yeah, I liked who's coming back. I'm looking forward to the movie. It makes me look forward to Fantastic Four a bit more. But yeah, I can't wait. See RDJ as a villain. That's going to be fun. But yeah, thank you.
So I've just watched the Avengers trailer. What I'd like to know is, where the heck is Spider-Man, Wolverine, Deadpool, Scarlet Witch? And why the heck have we got little kids in it and not them? That's my take on it, to be perfectly honest. But I must say, I'll still be going to see it because it looks bloody brilliant.
Okay, thank you, Nerds of the Roundtable, for your thoughts on the casting announcement, and it was interesting to see who you guys were most excited for. Some of you weren't a surprise, Rob. Some of you were. I didn't expect Oakley to be such a big Ant-Man stan, for example. So that's going to be a interesting thing, isn't it, to see how all these characters interact. And can Sam lead them is the big question for me. We've seen him step in to the role of Captain America twice now, in Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Captain America 4. But does he have the chops to lead them as the new captain of the Avengers? As for me and my thoughts, I am super excited to see back the original X-Men cast. I think they are going to be fantastic. Sir Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart being back as Magneto and Charles Xavier respectively are massive for me. I grew up on those films. Magneto is my favorite comic villain of all time. I put villain in quotation marks because I don't personally see Magneto as a true out and out villain. He's more of a anti-villain rather than an anti-hero. He's like the opposite. Like, you would class Deadpool as an anti-hero, I would class Magneto as an anti-villain. So he does heroic things, but he's still in that villain category. I was surprised to see the original Nightcrawler back, Alan Cumming, because he's getting up there in age, and there's a lot of acrobatics involved with Nightcrawler. Sorry, I put Nightcrawler and his name together. But it's going to be fun to see that, and we got the original Mystique back rather than Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, so that's going to be interesting. The last time we saw her was Days of Future Past, I believe, and that was only a brief cameo. So we'll have to see how that all pans out in that regard. As for some of the comments that the Nerds of the Roundtable made, I also am looking forward to Reed and Namor's dynamic. I think it would be really cool if when Namor and Reed meet each other, Reed and Namor, from Reed's perspective, have history, but from Namor's perspective, they don't know each other at all. So Reed hates Namor, but Namor is like, who the hell are you? I also think that it was interesting we didn't see Monica Rambeau listed when the last time we saw her was with Kelsey Grammer, Beast, in her post-credit scene of the Marvels. Now, Marvel did, in a tongue-in-cheek way, with Robert Downey Jr. in like comment sections of the announcement, released that this isn't the end of the releases. They set up a bunch of other things. Like, we know Doctor Strange is dealing with the incursion with, I think it's Dormammu's sister. They set that up in Multiverse of Madness. So we need to see what that's playing out as. And from the leaked concept art, there was a Doctor Strange with Doom and what appeared to be Sue as his queen and a Reed in chains. So we could see what that's playing out as there. Now, I know there are some theories flowing around that that's after Doom has taken over the MCU and enslaved all the heroes. And that's going to lead into Battleworld and Secret Wars. For those of you that don't know, in the 2015 Marvel Comics Secret Wars, after the incursion, Doom usurped the powers of a race of beings known as the Beyonders, and when he did that, he remade the universe to a place called Battle World, where he was supreme, basically. With that, I think they could do that. I personally hope that Robert Downey Jr. isn't the be-all and end-all Victor Von Doom. I hope he's like the main villain for like 3/4 of the first movie, and then the Doom, maybe Cillian Murphy, maybe someone else, comes in and defeats the Tony Stark Doom, and we get a Doom war for a little bit, and the Doom that reigns supreme in Secret Wars is the Doom. I think that would be a nice way to bookend it, because my personal thoughts are that while it's a nice gimmick to bring Robert Downey Jr. back, and I can see why Disney would want to do that, and Marvel, to put butts back in the seats after Marvel's steady decline and the hype going down. If you want more on our thoughts on that, check out the latest podcast episode on our thoughts on Marvel. Help, we're back for season 2, I believe it's called. It should be popping up on your screen now anyway. But I think it was unnecessary. I think Robert Downey Jr. should have hung up his armor at this point. I don't think we need an evil variant, but that's just me. If you're excited for Robert Downey Jr. coming back, by the way, no hate, like 100% get excited by that. It's just that I personally don't think it was needed. It's not been long enough for Robert Downey Jr. out of the MCU for him to come back, in my personal opinion. So, yeah, but correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, like, and you think Robert Downey Jr. coming back was the best thing to happen to this movie. But to answer the question that the Nerds of the Roundtable did, the one person I was the most disappointed wasn't in the cast announcement was Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch, because her fate is ambiguous as of Agatha all along. So I was kind of hoping we would see it, especially with Magneto being in this movie. For those that know and those that don't, Magneto, canonically, it was Wanda's biological father, is now sort of a pseudo-adopted father, as they retconned the actual biology of their relationship when she came into the MCU. So, but I would have liked to actually see them interact on screen, and maybe Siri McKellen make a comment about how in his universe Wanda is his daughter. That would have been nice. But I don't think we're gonna get that, unfortunately. But yeah, that's it really. I think the cast is stacked. I think basically they've set the pieces up with the incursions. There are some people missing that were part of this, like Strange, Monica Rambeau, that are confusing, but maybe they'll come out in a later release. There's also other characters that I would expect to show up, but the cast is already stacked. If they bring any more people in, it's just going to be like a 20-second cameo per person. And it was fun a little bit in Deadpool and Wolverine, but I don't want that to be the case for Doomsday. We need a core group actually doing things. So I have a feeling that the core group is mainly going to be centered around like the Avengers, X-Men, and Fantastic Four, and we're going to get cameos from like the Thunderbolts and other stuff. But you don't know until it comes out. For those people like myself that was also disappointed Tom Holland wasn't in there, he is currently filming The Odyssey, so I wasn't expecting to see his name there. It is slightly disappointing that he wasn't there, but I can see why not. As for everything else, it's just up in the air, isn't it? We just have to leave it until we get the video, we get the movie. Sorry, so it'll be what it is. Okay, thank you for watching, and thank you to all the nerds of the roundtable for their reactions. I think it's going to be a great movie. I know I was a bit somber towards the end. I think it is going to be a great movie. I just hope that they don't oversaturate it. I think that's what I was trying to get at. So let us know your thoughts on the cast announcement in the comment section below. If you do like the content, please do drop us a follow, because that really helps the channel out, and share the content with your friends. Thank you, and stay nerdy, my friends.